We want to get started. We got a quorum. The only person missing is Phil. We only got 4 items for the agenda. Anybody got any ideas where they want the items placed?
Get 3 now because number 1.
Can't hear you, Dale.
I said I think we have only 3 now because 1 withdrew. Number 1 withdrew. Joanna just said DDC. The library withdrew.
Yeah, but we added Lambino.
Right. So that still only leaves 3 items. 1, 2, 3.
I have 4.
It's 4. Well,
Okay, then I'm missing something. So I only have 4 items, and then 1 is withdrawn.
Yeah, no, I have 3.
Supposed to be,
oh yeah, yeah.
it's supposed to be 3 items. We never, it will be 4 with the liquor licenses, but we never list them.
Right. We have, liquor
So it's only
license.
3 right now.
Okay. So we got a presenter. We got Rhonda with a presentation from DOT, and we got Debonowski with a person for a liquor license, and we got 2 trees.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so who do we want to go first, or second, or third?
I think 1 should be 1, 2, and then 3, number 4, and Arthur, number 4. I mean, number 4 goes to 3, and then 3 goes to 4. Hello?
So we only have
No, we only have 3.
I think we should probably let Rhonda go first, and then Lambino, and then the
Yes.
liquor license guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 will be 1, 4 will be 2, 3 will be 3, and with the liquor license last. With Debonowski's client, not client, but the person that coming with the 200 or 300, 600 or more patrons that's gonna occupy his space.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Okay.
agree.
Yes, I agree.
I agree.
Okay. And then, of course, we have the liquor license, so that'll make us have 4 items on the agenda. Is there anything else?
Does this issue from the DOT's assignment, does it go first to Transportation Committee, or?
Before, is the car share programs coming before the board, and then it's going to committee.
It doesn't need approval?
Huh?
It doesn't need an approval?
Well, it goes to the board, and anybody got comments, and it'll probably start, 30 days from the presentations? Once they do the presentation, they got 30 days, so that'll probably give people time to make comments. They're going to transportation after they leave us, so.
On the paperwork that Rhonda sent, it said that it did not need the community board's approval.
So why are they coming here? Just to show it to us?
Simon,
Yes.
these items always come before the full board so the community will know what's going on. And we have our input on it. They give us an opportunity to speak up, in case we
Right.
see something we want to make changes on. Comes before the full board, then it go to committee do whatever. And then DOT does what they normally do.
But with this exact presentation, they're just gonna tell us something, so I don't believe it's gonna go to the OT, am I wrong? It don't have to go to the committee if they just wanna say something, is that what it's about, Joanna?
They did ask to come to the transportation committee after the full board.
Okay, thanks.
So I have a question, just understanding this, how this works. And who puts in it says new request. Who puts in the request? It says on this letter of new locations, the DOT wants to do this car share. I mean, you understand what's happening here. We're going to be removing permanent parking spaces. So the question is, who puts in the new request? I think it's, how does it work?
I would imagine the agency put in for a request, or the company put in for a request, because it's a car share program. They put in the request at DOT, and then they work it out with DOT.
I mean, we have so many fights regarding removing parking, and here we're talking about, I can't count how many parkings this is, but it's a tremendous amount of parking spaces will be removed.
It's a 2-year pilot program.
Yes, that's short term.
It does look like they're gonna remove a lot of parking spaces.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 new requests. Each location at least 1 or 2 parkings.
What do you mean 19 requests, Simon?
It says new requests. Some of them are renewals. On the second page of the letter that the DOT sent us, some are renewals and some are new requests. So if I counted, I think there are 19 new requests. That means a minimum of like 40 parkings will be removed.
I see what you mean. There's 19 new requests.
Right.
It's gonna be,
Yeah, I guess they want to upgrade and add more cars. Well, they got a lot of streets that they're gonna, new requests. We have to let them tell us what the program is, and then we have to ask questions. Yeah.
So regarding the description, they said that they tried it as a pilot program and now they wanna make it permanent.
Where do you see they want to make it permanent, Sonia?
When you see the agenda, the items, and you read it, presentation description, so it's very detailed. It seems to me like they found it a success. They did a 2-year pilot program, and then now under the Shaker program registered, they found it to be a success. So therefore, they're trying to make it plus creating a permanent program for providing car share parking spaces.
Okay,
So
I see it in the
definitely
first
looking at that
paragraph.
being permanent. You saw it?
Yeah, I see it in the first paragraph.
So yeah, so this is wow. And if you gotta read, ooh, it talks about a lot.
Hmm. I haven't seen the cars around. Anybody seen them?
I haven't.
You have to make a note of our question, Simon, because they got the streets listed that they are on. So I don't know if they just those are pickup points. I really don't know. Any other questions? Anything else to add?
Me.
No,
Yes. We said
Okay.
Sonia, no?
no, I don't know, nothing else.
Oh, well, so, can we vote on the agenda? And I guess was, but everybody's in agreement with that this is the way the agenda would look for our December meeting?
I agree.
Yes, I agree.
Do we have to do a roll call?
Huh?
Do we have to do a roll call or just,
No, I don't think so. You know, it's only what, 5 of us, 6 of us.
Yeah.
Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Simon, did you agree?
Yes, yes, sure.
That's unanimous. Okay, is there anything else we want to discuss?
no, not my end.
Okay, well, you know, that
Well,
concludes our,
Chair, can I bring up a discussion that you don't like to talk about, but I want to discuss it. It was discussed at the full board meeting. I was overseas, so I couldn't join. The issue that we brought up to the executive board meeting a couple of times regarding the non-board member, full board members. And I made a suggestion that I think it's fair to say that we should limit the amount of non-board members that could join each particular committee. My suggestion was that we should just limit it to 2 non-board members. Like this, it should balance the full committee. And my argument is that non-board members can join this particular committee and have a certain agenda, and I feel that they override the opinion and the opinion of the full board members that join, that are constantly busy with many meetings and they're busy the full month, and they just join one meeting and they can sway. And I think they shouldn't be able to sway a vote in their favor. I think it's not balanced. Let's use the wording. And the chair had sent a letter, I think last year, to the bylaws committee. They should bring up this issue. Somehow I don't know where the letter is, but I did see that letter.
Simon,
Yep.
I was on the board. I was the co-chair of the bylaws committee.
I think I sent it to you, right?
Yeah,
Sent to Sonia, yeah.
So, and in June, Julia Foster got a response from the legal team at the borough president indicating, I mean, I can forward you guys the email where
Okay.
it was addressed and answered that we couldn't do it because part of the charter, whatever required in the bylaws, required that there be non-members on the committees. And they vote.
That what?
Non-members, yes, they can be on the committee, Simon. We spoke about it during the bylaws, and I also made mention, which I really continue to stress, the fact that some board members overextend themselves, do not show up in their committee, and therefore those people that are community residents attend, and
Yeah, but
things don't go.
let's
Well, let me finish, Simon. I'll let you finish.
Simon, let her finish.
So as a result, things don't go into people's favor because people overextend themselves. The board members, community board members do not attend their meetings, and then they want to come back and scream when somebody makes a decision. I've never seen them sway the chair of any committee. And I know that the bylaw committee has non-board members who don't serve there. However, I think it's not about limiting non-board members. It's about getting board members to either commit to attend their committee meetings or get out. Because we cannot stop our neighbors from joining. It is part of the charter. It is part of our bylaws. It is the law. So look through your emails because Julia Foster sent the response from the legal people at the Brooklyn Borough President's office back in June.
Well, you said you have it. Could you forward it to all the executive board meeting?
Yes,
the
I
committee
would.
meeting
I think
members?
did I forward it to you, Joanna? I'm not sure, because I was forwarding stuff
So
because I know.
let me just clarify, Sonia. Let me clarify.
Go
To
ahead.
be clear, I'm not saying that we shouldn't allow non-board members. I just feel is that it should be limited. And I think I remember last time we checked it out with other community boards. Some have no non-board members on their committees. So either, I mean, if we can't put it in the bylaws, at least it should be internally, and we should, as executive board, I think we should.
Not a good idea. Not a good
policy.
idea, Simon.
Now, one
Not a
second.
good idea.
We're not trying to suppress the opinions and from the general public. It's very important. That's how we make our decisions. They could come and we always listen to them, but I don't think they should have a voting power. It's two different things. Number one, I mean, just an example, right? I was on the transportation committee when one board member brought up a very important point, a vote, whatever it was, okay? So majority of the board members voted in favor of this resolution or whatever, and the non-board members overrode it. And that's when it went in, so we can, again, if it's fair, it's fair. I don't think it's fair that we as full board members attend 3, 4, 5 meetings a month. I mean, it depends. Everybody, I mean, at least 3 months, 3 for sure. But I'm just saying, I think it's not fair that they should. Again, I repeat myself. If it can be put into the bylaws, at least internally we should limit it to 2 per committee.
Simon, you said it.
Simon, how did, and excuse me, Sonia.
Yeah, go ahead.
Simon, in the transportation committee, how did the non-board members override the vote of the committee members?
Because they were 5, or they were a majority at that point, whatever it was.
Well, that must have happened because the regular members wasn't there.
No, and
They-
also, but some.
There's not enough.
Exactly.
There's not more
Exactly.
board members on a committee than board members.
Yeah.
I will not allow that to happen. I'm not.
Yeah,
saying-
no, that's you're right. It's not this. Like, I don't feel there should be 5. 5. I think there should be a limit. Again, I mean, I'm just saying
It depends on the size of the committee, Simon.
Yeah, but there's
I
also.
want to ask
There's
other
also,
board.
Simon, there's also the issue, you stated it. There's some board members who join 5 or 6 committees. The bylaw clearly states 1 committee, at least 1. If people
Right.
overextend themselves and find themselves that they don't have the time to commit to a committee, they shouldn't be there. I'm sorry. The bylaw clearly states at least 1. And
Right.
people tend to burn themselves out. And that's a problem that we should be addressing in the bylaws committee and bringing it out to the full board. If you can't, you can't. If you overextend yourself, you're going to have a problem. It is not the residents, our neighbors' fault that the board members do not commit themselves to attending these meetings. We start messing with these things, we're going to get ourselves in a lot of trouble.
I get it. But we're going away. Let's stay focused. Focus on the issue. The issue is, I feel that we should limit 2 non-board members, and that's what I feel. They shouldn't be able to override on any committee, and that's my I think 2 cents when I think about this, and I want to hear from the other executive board members what they think about this.
Maria?
I'm raising my hand, but it has nothing to do specifically with, I mean, they're non-voting members, so I don't understand, Simon, your concern about the sway.
No, they are voting members. Their vote counts as much as the board members.
Yes, and they have to be, and they have to specify in the meeting who was non-members and who were committee members that voted.
Yeah, but when it gets to the
No,
full
this
board,
isn't what-
Maria,
excuse me,
if
Simon.
Maria has the floor.
Simon. Excuse me, Simon.
Maria has the floor.
I just don't understand, and I understand that there is, okay, conflate things. It's written in our bylaws, it can happen, which means that there's not much difference then of being a full-blown board member versus a non-member who votes. Because at the end of the day, the vote counts regardless. So there has to be some way to distinguish one from the other and what one brings that the other doesn't, because it means that I mean, it doesn't. It just, unless, it just brings up a vote in committee, not at the full board level. So
Right.
let's get clear as to, what are the distinctions of the two? And
Right.
then another thing I'm gonna say in regards to the bylaws and the number of committees that a person can sign on to, I mean, I signed on to more than 3 because I thought that we needed to carry that load of signing on to 3. Otherwise, I'm telling you, I would only belong to one committee. I would only belong to one committee. There's no way. And right now, I don't even know how many committees. I mean, I'm on land use, in housing, public safety, of course, board budget, it's 4. Executive, that's 5 meetings, aside from the full board meeting. So if we really don't need to join more than one committee, I think that should be mentioned very emphatically, because this is perhaps
Sorry,
where there's
sorry,
the
Madam Chair,
confusion.
but we posted the bylaws, and you guys can see it on the Brooklyn site. You can see the bylaws.
Yeah.
I serve on the bylaws committee as co-chair, and it clearly states it.
I hear you, Sonia. I just say that it should be emphasized to the full board, because the message originally was that we had to join at least 3 committees.
No, oh, I didn't.
Two.
Oh,
I'm not
when I-
wrong here.
No, I know
didn't
what
make
you're
this
saying.
up.
You're right. But we have to be more specific. The fact is, when I joined the bylaws committee, it clearly states it. And if we drop the ball, we drop the ball. But we did post enough, everybody can read it, and the full board can see it. The fact is that that's why we've got to look and really what you really feel as a board member, which committee you're going to do the best work with. That's what you should stick with, as opposed to having all these absentees and not having the quorum. I think that we have to revisit that. As executive committee, it is our responsibility to let them know, hey, you know what, if you overextend yourself, if you cannot do it, you cannot do it. At least one, serve and serve it well. That's what I believe. I'm sorry. That's what I believe.
So what you're saying is one thing with the other. You're saying that the reason that we have all of these members that are not non-board members that vote, and that they're swaying the vote, is because the full board members are not attending the committee meetings. Is that what you're saying? Is that what I understood?
That's what it seems to me, because when we constantly hearing about quorums, we're constantly seeing that a lot of non-board members, but they are committee members, are attending religiously these committees. They are attending it religiously. Am I wrong, Del T?
Yeah, that's because people, when I get the forms, people join committees that they feel like they're interested in and that they want to work on. And I try to assign them to those committees. But, I think it's good to be on more than one committee, because you won't have a very good variety of people with knowledge with certain committees if you don't join more than one committee.
And that is true. However, what we've heard throughout is that we have to join at least 3. But that should be.
It was 2, Maria.
It was 2? Well, but it's actually 1, according to the
Well, to my
bylaws.
knowledge, it was 2.
Okay,
If-
the
if-
bottom line is
ju-
that for transparency, it should be said. And don't expect folks to read it in the bylaws and remember what they read 12 years ago. Just emphasize that, it's to do it in good faith, because you want to join other committees, because you want to know what's going on, because sometimes things intersect. Most things intersect, actually. But not because you have to join 2, because the reality is that you don't.
Gina?
Can I speak? Hi,
Yes, I called.
do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wanted to share that I think I understand what Simon is saying. And I think it's because when I'm on the liquor license committee, and I know there's the YOLO committee, but I believe that if you have people who are sitting on a committee and they're full members, they're full participants. They're not only sitting on a committee, but they're sitting on the full board meeting committee, where they're listening to public speakers, they're listening to the other board members, and they're integrating what everybody's saying and the decisions that are being made. And I can speak for the liquor license committee. We do have really two very good non-board members there. But I believe if we had more than that, it really would not be fair, because overall, we do listen to the full board. We listen to the public speakers. We listen to what they have to say to the full board meetings. And if we're in other committees like the Public Safety Committee, we can bring in those public speakers who participate in that committee to the other committee. So there's more integration, there's more holistic thinking when you're a full board member. So that, yes, it's good to have non-board members there, but you don't want to sway it to the direction where you have beyond two board members. And I would say the liquor license committee, everybody does come, the full board members, so that's not a problem. So I don't know how other committees are, but that's one committee where votes are taken continuously and it's brought back and decisions are made. So that's for the committee I'm familiar with.
Sonia, you still got your hand up?
I was just gonna say that I get what you're saying, Gina. I get what Simon's saying. Nobody is saying that it's not something that, it's becoming an issue. However, remember too that they are neighbors, they're community residents, and they have a voice in the community. And I just feel that we have to tread lightly. This is something that's going to bring backlashes. We have to be very careful. The fact that it is in the charter, it is a law that provides our community neighbors to participate. It's so important because they live here too. I mean, I don't understand, why we're not giving them the credit and saying they swayed. It's not swaying, because if a chair says, you know what, this is the majority or this is the minority, and explains how the vote went, then people probably going to say, okay, board members, there shouldn't be a distinction because we're still all community residents. The fact remains that they deserve just as much as we do to have a voice and have an opinion and to have a vote. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Can I speak? Still?
Well, according to the charter, there's no limit to non-board members that can be on a committee.
Correct.
So, and if we start limiting, that cuts the community from having involvement. And then if you limit two, I mean, you never get any more new ones. You just stop
You
with
always
two.
need to have an odd number. Don't you need to have an odd number though? Oh, it's preferable to have an odd number? Dell's hand is raised.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Dale.
I think that there has to be some kind of common sense approach to this. Of course, I do. Look, I've stuck up for my non-board land use committee members a million times, and but I think that, let's say 100 people from the community decide they want to join the land use committee. I mean, that would be untenable, we just can't.
Yeah.
So there has to be, I think.
We
No,
can't
you're being
hear you,
cut
Dale.
off, Del.
Can I just please finish? I haven't said anything. I'm listening to everybody.
You were breaking up, Dell.
We couldn't
Okay,
hear you.
So I think there needs to be a common sense approach. And I do think that, frankly, I think, Alice, you've been doing a good job using your discretion. At first, I was concerned that we might have too many non-board members on the land use committee because it was getting close, almost 50-50, But the way it's worked out, there are at least a few more board members than non-board members. I would prefer to have maybe one or two less non-board members. If for no other reason, then at some point it's very difficult to run a meeting with 30 people, 30 members. So it becomes a question of being able to manage it. I have no complaints about what you've been doing. We've worked together on this. I do have a couple of non-board members who have not been showing up regularly. And frankly, I think if a non-board member doesn't regularly show up, I have no qualms about saying, look, I have no qualms about asking you, Dialis, to take them off, because there is a difference, in my opinion, between a board member and a non-board member. And I do agree with Simon that board members put in a lot of mandatory work, whereas non-board members don't. And I think it's I am comfortable saying there is a difference. On the
There is
other
a difference.
hand, I do understand also that we should open up the committees to non-board members, but a reasonable amount. And to me, it seems that we can make a common sense kind of judgment on that. And for instance, land use. A lot of the people, especially when we get some controversial things coming up, you'll have a whole lot of non-board members wanting to join the committee. Well, you know what? I have no problem saying, look, there's got to be a limit, and a certain number there, some kind of a ratio. If you have 3 board members, then you don't really want more than 3 non-board members unless the committee wants it for whatever reason. But on the other hand, you get land use where we have maybe 14 board members. So now, you want to make it less than 14. I don't know. Maybe it makes sense to have no more than 5 non-board members, just because the committee chair will be having a very difficult time running a meeting if it's just too big. But again, I think it's common sense, and I think that Dialis you've been using your discretion. At least that's my opinion. But I do think that there is a rationale. Board members.
Thank you, Dal, for that. I really do
makes-
use
no.
discretion, and before I put somebody on a committee, I look to see how many people are already on there.
And that's a great thing. That
And I
makes
can tell
sense.
you
That
that
makes
every
sense, though.
non-board member application come in, they want to be on land use.
But no, that makes sense.
Every
Del. Like, thank
application
you.
comes in, want to be on
Yep.
land use.
Yep. But but
I mean,
Del,
if
that
I put
makes sense.
everybody
Thank
on
you.
your list, you'd had over 50 people. But every application comes in, 9 times out of 10, they want to be on land use.
But yeah,
So
that's
I'm using,
Yeah.
I know that I can't overload a committee with non-corporate
Right.
board members, but
Right.
what am I, but what am I supposed to say? Maybe
Right.
maybe the bylaws committee would come up with something like Dell says, some of her members are not attending.
But I
Maybe we should
think,
come
yeah,
up with,
that's-
maybe we should come up with the bylaws where
right.
if a board member, if a non-board member doesn't attend a certain amount of meetings, then they can be removed.
That's perfect. That makes
I
sense.
just don't want to
But-
arbitrarily just
Right.
remove them because you're not attending. But we need some kind of guidelines in the bylaws to say if somebody's
does-
if a non-board member is not attending X
Right.
amount of meetings, then they should be removed. So that
And
way,
that makes sense. That makes sense. But I think the key here is talking to the chairs of each committee and see what the needs are. Because the chairs and the chairperson of the board, of the whole full board, Madam Chair, you guys get to decide, and that makes perfect sense. And the fact, like Del says, she's overwhelmed because that's one of the committees which is overwhelming where people want to go. So that makes perfect sense. So perhaps being on the co-chair of the bylaws, I will discuss that with Adam and we could come up with something that is reasonable. But the fact of saying that not getting people is an issue. If we say, okay, we're going to limit it, how many people can serve on a committee, that makes more sense. Because it is overwhelming.
I'd like to make a suggestion that we invite all the chairs to our next executive board meeting and discuss this issue.
Perfect. I agree. That's great. Everybody should, yup, perfect.
Everybody agree with that?
I do.
Joanna, please make a note that we'll invite the chairs of
Yes,
every committee to attend our next executive board meeting to discuss this item. Thank
Okay.
you. Yes, Simon.
I think Simon's hand was raised before.
I called him.
Okay, no, I just wanted to take on. I just wanted to. I looked at the wording that we got from the law department, and it doesn't say that you can't make your own decisions about how many members you put in. I mean, every board has their own bylaws, right? Because it's changed. Every committee, every community board has their own bylaws. So it doesn't say the guidance we got from the law department. Just the wording is I just sent it to everybody. My comment. The wording is that they could attend. You can't have board members, but it doesn't say that we can't limit it. It just said the wording we got is there's no limit in the charter the number of non-members who may serve on a committee. Okay, but it doesn't say that we can't, as a board, vote that we can limit it to as many as we want. It's a suggestion. It's like anything that the board can put in the bylaws, and this is one of the things that I think. I'm just saying in the legality part of it. I'm just that's what I'm saying. It's I don't see that it should be against the law to limit the amount of non-board members. Okay, that's all.
I just want to say that I agree with Simon. I agree with Simon. I think that we can limit the number of keep saying non-voting, non-board members. I think we should, for all of the reasons that Dell expressed, for everything that Simon said, and because it can get really out of control. I mean, if you have 15 non-board members voting in your committee, and I hear you, Madam Chair, where you're saying that you look before you assign, because if not, everybody would just go on to land use. So that's very mindful and thoughtful, but I think we should limit the number.
Can I get a vote on this?
I think that what Madam Chair indicated, Simon, was let's bring it on the chair, see where they stand with it, because not every committee has non-board members. I think that Madam Chair's solution was the best one. Remember, Simon, listen to me, please. The fact that let every other chairperson come in, address it, see what's going to happen, let them bring it up in their own committee, let them bring up a resolution, let them bring up a motion. I just think that putting it all on our hands is just a problem. We already have issues with people saying we do things, we're not transparent. Let's bring everybody in. Let's discuss it. Hey, this is what we're feeling.
This issue of non-transparent is, please, this is old stuff from many, many years. We keep on.
Simon,
we're scared of the ghost. There's no ghost in the room. Please, no.
I'm not saying that.
I'm saying a simple thing, and I think it makes sense. Nothing to do with it's nothing to do with chair. It has to do with common sense, okay? And I feel that it has to be once and for all put into the bylaws. Nothing to do with if they do attend, don't attend, how they attend. Fine, it's a good idea. We call every committee.
knows.
Every committee should come.
Exactly.
The chair, every committee should come. That's besides the point. That's good because we want to give support and to hear everybody's ideas on attendance.
Exactly,
but this idea,
You're talking about voting today. No.
Right. So I'm saying I think we should bring up a vote. I think the committee we as a committee, we could vote that the chair of the board should send the letter to bylaws to bring it up at the next meeting. It's two different things.
Simon, this is under discussion, and this discussion will continue with the chairpersons. I would like to get their input now before we make a decision. Before we make a decision, then we hear their input. It wouldn't be fair to them. We need to hear from all the chairpersons about their committees to discuss how they'll function, how they will not function, we need to hear what the other chairs has to say. This is an ongoing discussion. It will continue at the next executive board meeting. The executive board meeting will not vote on it without the input from the other chairs.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Maria?
No, I have nothing else. Oh, that's an old hand, sorry.
That's an old hand.
It's an old hand. It's 59 years old.
Oh.
Okay, happy birthday to the old hand.
120 till 120, Maria.
It's what?
As they say when they wish somebody to live a long life, they say till 120. In the Jewish culture, they say
that's a lot.
When you wish somebody to live long, they say to 120. And I'm just thinking now because Moses.
As old as Methuselah.
Moses died, he was 120. Maybe that's why they wish everybody you should live to 120.
Wow.
Oh,
Never heard this? Never heard this?
I didn't know that he was 120 when he died.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Simon. That's good
But
history.
thank you. If you read, you learn something every day. Thank you.
Well, the climate we're in, I don't know about living to 120.
What? We're talking about, you said, about the climate?
Chair, I
We're
wish you
talking about
too.
the crime.
I don't mind
Madam
it
Chair.
as long as I'm healthy and
The
of
crime.
sound mind.
They don't
Chair,
kill us
Chair,
first.
Chair, I'd like to wish you a blessing that you should also live and be healthy to 120.
Thank you. Also throw in there with a sound mind.
Yeah.
Body too.
Yep.
So in Polish, if you sneeze, they say stolat, which means to 100. They're wishing.
The what, Dal? We can't hear you.
In Polish.
In Polish, when you sneeze, they don't say God bless you, they say stolat, which means until 100. They wish that you'll live to be 100.
100.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you, Del. We learned a lot of stuff today.
Okay.
Learning.
Okay, it's 7:15 on the dot, so can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting and we'll go right into Simon's committee meeting?
Make a
Yeah,
motion.
said motion.
Okay, thank you. Meeting
Good night,
adjourned.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
What is Simon's committee meeting?
7:15, steering committee.
Maria, you could, I think she could, I don't know. She could join, please.
No. What meeting?
No, we're
Huh?
doing now the
You can
search
stay.
committee meeting.
The search
Yeah.
committee, so somebody has to host. Who's
Oh,
hosting?
no.
It
Goodbye.
won't be long. It won't be long.
Good
You
night.
stay, Maria. We enjoy your input. Sonia,
Maria's.
will you be able to take over the,
Yes,
be
I
able to
will.
take over the host for
Yes,
Maria,
Joanna?
stay
madam.
on.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Joanna, would you turn the host over to Sonia? And thank you so much, Joanna. Have a good evening. Get
Thank you,
home safe.
Joanna. Good night.
Thank you. Let me
Okay.
just lock the meeting and then
Okay.
ready.
Oh, so we don't have all the members in yet. Oh.
Oh, yeah, we have Heimlich